time for Emperor Jonwayne's Freaky Flicks! And I am the ghost host with the most, Emperor Jonwayne Frankenstein, the King of Cringe, and your host of horrors. Joining to me today is the necrotic Necrosia, the Mistress of Misery. And today we have for you, spanning back over 100 years of silent film, one of the most famous ghost stories of all time. A story is associated with Halloween as the Halloween horror movies themselves. But I guess before we go any further, I will let Necrosia do the introduction for you. So Necrosia, if you will please be so kind as to tell them what we have in store for them today.
Absolutely. Greetings, mortals. Welcome to Emperor Jonwayne's Freaky Flicks, shock bolt of horrors. I, Necrosia, invite you to a haunting tale of love, betrayal, and the undead. From 1922 comes a silent horror classic, The Headless Horseman, based on Washington Irving's timeless tale, directed by Edward Venturini and starring Willard Louis and Will Rogers. This chilling film will leave you shivering in fear. So join me, dear fiends, as we ride into the darkness with The Headless Horseman. Now back to you, my Emperor.
That's right. We have The Headless Horseman, one of the greatest horror stories of all time, featuring perhaps the single most famous ghost ever, the Headless Horseman. One that came in early America, and it takes place in Halloween, known for its grinning jack-o'-lantern. And oh, I can hardly wait. This movie's over 100 years old, so it is silent and shadowy, with flickering images of questionable quality. But in any case, we've told you enough. Let us get on with the movie. Roll it! Summer day about the year 1790, a little Dutch village of Sleepy Hollow was gone with excitement. The new schoolmaster was due to arrive on the weekly mail stage from New York. Katrina, the lovely daughter of Baltus Van Tassel, the richest farmer of the Hollow, was the acknowledged belle of the neighborhood. Woo-hoo. Hello, nurse. The school committee was top-heavy with its own importance. Abraham Van Brant, better known as the redoubtable Brom Bones, the daredevil hero of the neighborhood, was Katrina's most favored suitor. Ichabod Crane, a Yankee schoolmaster. I predict these coaches will soon be abandoned just on the account of the disgraceful driving. I am Bravur, chairman of the school committee. Allow me to present Minor Van Riper, through a short pipe, a just and God-fearing man, Master Crane. Dominie Heckwelder, and Mynheer Baltus Van Tassel. The innkeeper's wife, Dame Martin. The committee should have hired some honest Dutch pedagogue instead of this strange Yankee. That bookworm had better keep his eyes off Mistress Katrina. That Sleepy Hollow was a haunted and most superstitious region Ichabod Crane had often heard, but he little dreamed how soon he was to encounter the famous chief of the legends of ghosts, a mysterious Headless Horseman. Historians allege this ghost was that of a Hessian trooper who rode forth each night from his churchyard grave in quest of his battle-severed head. At At Ichabod Schoolhouse, the birch of justice soon became a contested terror to evildoers. Gerald Dame Martlin's noble offspring. Van Ripper was one of the most wrong-headed of Dutch urchins. Lucky for you, young sprout, that the sketch was not of the present master. The learned no longer hold that the earth is flat. Unfortunately, Columbus lived before I did, or I should have discovered this fact. Behold, in yon weathercock, the windy image of your pedagogue. I am surprised at your lack of respect for a man of such polish and education. Katrina Van Tassel partakes with everybody. I'll teach you to respect ladies. Oh my, they believed in corporal punishment back then. to do about this outrage? Nothing. No doubt he got what he deserved. Then I will have this insolent Yankee discharged. Young Ichabod must be an uncommonly good teacher. As his pay was small, the schoolmaster lodged a week at a time with the farmers whose children he instructed. And to various full meals Ichabod could entertain by the hour with direful tales of ghosts and goblins, in which he firmly believed. It's almost time for your singing class. As singing master, Ichabod picked up many bright shillings by teaching the young folks in psalmody. The time to begin the lesson has long since passed. I'm glad you missed me. Don't go, Brom! Our first exercise will be Psalm number 9. Too much falsetto, my good man, and some tunes should be sung doloroso, not impetuoso. I can't find any such note in this tuner. Try using your chest instead of your nose. There's bound to be an improvement. Harmony is being attacked from a new quarter. Don't be afraid, I won't choke you. God forbids! Forgotten to select a psalm for Sunday. The lesson hour is over. I must be going now. But won't you honor us by coming to supper tomorrow evening? I have an invitation for supper tomorrow, but in order not to disappoint you, if you could have yours a little later, I will be glad to come. Katrina, your flirtations are driving me mad. The last time, will you marry me? The royal riches of the Van Tassel domain entramped the poor pedagog's fancy, and they made his heart yearn after the damsel who was to inherit all this wealth. From a distance, I thought you were a lovely swan that had forsaken the water. Ichabod's mouth watered as he looked upon the promises of luxurious winter fare. My mother, Master Crane. The moment Ichabod laid his eyes upon these regions of delight, the peace of his mind was at an end, and his only study was how to gain the affections of the peerless daughters of Van Tassel. Looking for her sugar mama. Brom Bones was always ready for either a fight or a frolic, but had more mischief than ill will in his composition. This is the finest cooking it has been my good fortune to taste. Your mother is to be congratulated upon her skill. Indeed not, but you must compliment Florinda, for she has prepared everything here. Still, you should be praised for your selection of so good a cook. No, I never smoke. It's just a bad example for the youth of the community. I have only one weakness. The ladies. I hear that you've read several books quite through, and you are a perfect master of Matthew's history of witchcraft. Oh yes, I've studied a great deal. Folks learn things from me they wouldn't hear of otherwise. At the schoolhouse, we'll give this brazen Yankee a scare he won't forget. I enjoy imparting knowledge to the rural people. And may I ask, what city you're from? Why, you're Donbury, Connecticut. Hour when ghosts come forth. The Headless Horseman's coming! Nonsense! Only Brom Bones and his gang. Next morning, poor Ichabod was sure that all the witches in the country held their meetings in his schoolhouse. Let this sight be a warning to you. Study your lessons and respect your betters, or the devil may set upon you next. Master Crane must be in league with the devil, for last night... on Sunday morning.
Nose is turned up again. My text for today is the prophet cried out to the people with a loud voice, but they heard him not. Sermons were lengthy in those days. And fidelity, brethren, the prophet cried out to the people with a loud voice, but they heard him not. Fire! Fire! Where? In hell for such sleepy Christians as you are. Between services, Ichabod was the lion of the hour. Here lies the body of John Mound, lost at sea and never found. The fact that the witches met in his schoolhouse proves that Crane is a servant to the devil and unfit to instruct our children. Her lower lip hung feebly down, her pulse was only 2. She gave an awful groan and bade the world adieu. The Headless Horseman's grave. Read us what it says there. Stay away from that grave. Don't you know it's haunted?
Crane over to the tavern. I'll help you trap him. Won't you have supper at the inn tomorrow evening? Let's see, this is Sunday. Now if we could have our dinner a little later. Ignorant of the Dame Martlin's plot. You men folks are selfish to play by yourselves. I'd enjoy hearing of Master Crane's experience with witches and ghosts. They've been so numerous, and I've read so much on the subject, I hardly know where to begin. But the departed spirits of great writers are my constant companions. Young man, you need to go no further. Your own evil tales prove that you are a witch doctor, and you must resign as schoolmaster. And you must leave this town at once! This is a foul plot to get rid of me! I know nothing of witchcraft, and I shall not resign! Well, this is an interesting take on the classic tale. Now, most versions of it, Ichabod Crane is generally the hero, and Brom Bones is generally the villain. But this one, Brom Bones seems to be more of an anti-hero, and Ichabod seems to have problems of his own, being kind of a gold digger, and arrogant, and kind of a creep. Of course, his fascination with dark tales is kind of interesting and a redeeming quality in and of itself, as anyone watching these movies could attest. But, Necrosia, why don't you tell us what you think about this movie so far?
Beheaded Bonanza, Necrosia here, and we're taking a brief break from the haunting action. The Headless Horseman is a terrifying figure driven by a thirst for revenge. Will our hero, Ichabod Crane, survive the night? Stay with me, mortals, as we near the climax of this silent horror classic. Now back to you, my Emperor.
It is interesting to note that Will Rogers is playing Ichabod Crane, which is completely out of character for him. First of all, it's not a heroic sort of cowboy. He's a northern tin horn and kind of a jerk and an a-hole. The sort of villain of the story, to be honest. It's kind of interesting. But in any case, things are getting close to the midnight run of the Headless Horseman. We'll have to see how that goes. They didn't have much of him so far, but it did look interesting. His all skeletal body, his spiritual form in the beginning. Very, very freaky. I can't wait to see what happens next. So with that, let us roll it! There's a real singer master for you. The next morning, 1,000 scurvy rumors were set on foot. What further proof do we need of the headmaster's guilt? He should be discharged today! We must have actual evidence before he can be accused. Brown saw something must be done to discredit Ichabod once and for all. Master Crane has bewitched me for not going to school. I demand that this witch doctor be tarred and feathered and ridden out of town on a rail. The schoolmaster to be tarred and feathered, but I saw Brom Bones. One gun won't stop them. Call the school committee. If you have any knowledge of Adrian's affliction, a confession may save you from torture. I know not why I'm here. I have no knowledge of witchcraft. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. You're the cause of all this trouble! Master Crane is innocent. This boy can prove it. Bones hired me to play the Master Crane and bewitched me. Yes, he did. And he gave me some awful stuff to drink. And it's made me sick. Bones is the man we should tar and feather. I think the best way to punish Herr Bones is to have him make a public apology to Master Crane. It was just a joke. I didn't mean it to go so far. King again, it is now undisputed realm. Katrina Van Tassel bids you attend our merrymaking in Quilting Frolic this evening. been keeping yourself of late? And where did you get those handsome clothes? They have transformed you. I returned only yesterday from a trip to New York. Altogether, Ichabod indeed presents an apparition that was seldom to be met within daylight. Yet his spirit was that of a knight-errant in quest of his laurels. Daredevil looks as fiery as ever. Won't you ask your friend Bones to come to the party? Our famed stepped and dancing called Double Trouble. anyone with athletic ability couldn't enjoy the net, I wouldn't waste my time on it. Tales of great deeds in the Revolutionary War, having been worn threadbare, no subject so enthralled as that of the Headless Horseman. I met him myself the other night. He compelled me to mount behind him and gallop with the wings of the wind, over bush and brake, over hill and swamp, until we reached the church bridge. And then he turned into a skeleton, threw me over the bridge rail into the water, and sprang away over the treetops with a clap of thunder. The Headless Horseman is nothing but an errant jockey. One night I offered to race him for a bowl of punch. Daredevil beat the goblin horse all hollow, but the Hessian bolted and left his debt unpaid. Everyone else has gone home, but I wasn't sleepy. Realize I had no superior intellectually. and I'm sure I'm not without physical charm. If you haven't made any other plans, would you mind becoming my wife? I sort of planned on it. All the stories of ghosts and goblins he had heard that evening now crowded in upon Ichabod's memory. Moreover, he was approaching the very place where many of these tales had been laid. Just ahead was the haunted bridge, where Major Zandri had been ambushed. Are you? Ichabod's only hope was within the hallowed places of the nearby church in the night. As Ichabod pupils awaited him in vain all the following weeks, his mysterious disappearance was a cause of much speculation. Schoolmaster Crane was carried off by the Headless Horseman, without a doubt. Shortly after his rival's disappearance, home from New York several years later, old Bowler brought the news that Ichabod Crane was still alive and had kept school and studied law in other parts of the country, and finally been made a justice of the 10-pound court. Well, there you have it. The Sleepy Hollow. The 1922 version. A total different tale than the Disney version. I was a little disappointed that they didn't use the pumpkin head more. I mean, he did throw the pumpkin at the end, but we all know he's supposed to be wearing the pumpkin head. It's such an iconic part of the tale. But oh well. Necrosia, why don't we do an outro and let our friends go back on their festivities?
Completely contained, and so our journey comes to an end. The Headless Horseman has taken us on a chilling ride through the darkness of the human heart. I hope you enjoyed this silent horror classic, dear fiends. Until next time, when we'll be unleashing more cinematic shock and terror upon your trembling souls. Now, if you could do us a real favour, please subscribe to our channel. Not only does it let you know when we complete our next descent into the matinees of madness, but it really helps us a lot. We need 1,000 subscriptions to unlock most of the YouTube features, so every subscription helps a lot. Also feel free to like, share and comment. The more activity this video gets, the more YouTube shares it, and we all know misery loves company, and so do we. Farewell from Necrosia and the Emperor Jonwayne. Keep watching for more from our shock vault of horrors. Now back to you, my Emperor.
Well, thank you very much, boys and girls. We hope you watch us again. Please make sure you leave plenty of likes and shares. And in the comments, let us know if there's any public domain movies you would like to see. After all, we want to make you happy and enjoy our freaky flicks. So until next time.